A very good evening and welcome to yet another brand new edition of Colors of India, your weekly cultural diary on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Teena Jha. Let's start with glimpses of all that we have in store for you this week. First up on the show today, a day-long celebration of the Indian traditional dance forms. Next, a unique tribute to legendary singer Manna Day. And finally, a perfect example of divergent thinking. We start today's episode with some delightful performances depicting Indian culture, along with the flavour of European dance. So here's presenting the Spirit of Dance Festival that opens doors to an almost magical world. Take a look.
A dazzling array of some India's most colourful dances. The program titled The Spirit of Dance Festival, staged by the Alaknanda Institute of Performing Arts, celebrates 25 years of its existence. Thrills galore for the audience and performers alike.
Dance gives love, harmony and peace. So the festival dominates that dance doesn't need any language. You can go to any country and just perform and win their hearts. So this festival has loads of dances for all the audience.
The event began with an enthralling Kathak performance by Alaknanda and her troupe. With an idea to inspire young minds, their dance gave the most exhilarating effect with terrific speed and rhythmic complexity.
It's not really about the modern woman, it's about the woman of today's time, that she still, she doesn't, of course she has responsibilities, but when you ask her what does she want to be, she wants to be a sweet melody coming from Lord Krishna's Bansuri. She wants to be like the beautiful air, she wants to be like the cool waters, she wants to be connected with nature, she just wants to be free. She does not want to be tied down by the society's perception about what the society thinks she should be. So that is what it is about.
And then a mesmerizing, powerful performance of Mayurbhanj Chhau. Chhau is believed to be the most accurate manifestation of the dual Shiv-Parvati energy. They were the original gurus who inspired the tribals to come up with movements to honor and evoke them.
I'm not much of an art fan or classical dance fan, but coming here has changed my perception towards classical dance and all that. I really liked it.
The festival also served as an ideal introduction to the classical European dance forms, leaving the audience spellbounded by an engaging Baroque dance production from Poland.
This street of multiple cultures all at once was a delight to the human heart. The festival showed up the real spirit of dance, mesmerizing one and all. In our next segment, a new age ode to Lord Shiva, the eternal Hindu deity who maintained a perfect balance of the 5 elements. Sakshi, an NGO in the national capital, presented a thought-provoking and visually interesting show which was a perfect blend of both culture and history. Take a look.
A unique dance theatre event, Fire and Ash, by Just Us repertory from Chennai, transforming an Asian myth into a contemporary metaphor. Blending dance, classical and folk music, theatre and poetry, this performance celebrated Shiva as the image of primordial creativity and cosmic energy.
It is a program which is, they have called it a new age ode to Shiva. According to the story and the narrative, Shiva was poems from Kalidas and Rabindranath Tagore and Tamil writers and Marathi writers have been translated into English.
Fire and ash actually symbolizes an urgent need of our times, the destruction of negative forces and the rejuvenation of positive energies. A Bharatanatyam performance by Anjana Anand and storytelling by Gauri Ramnarayan aims at bringing the ancient to the contemporary.
I don't have to tell you about the importance of the story of Shiva, emphasizing Shiva swallowing poison to save the world.
Inspired by the poems of iconic Indian poets in different languages, the script treats prehistoric archetype Shiva as a contemporary metaphor to make sense of the world in which we live, empowering the individual and finding a still point of this ever-churning universe.
Shiva as a god is so full of contradictions. He is on the one hand a complete ascetic. On the other hand, he is the greatest artist. He is the great destroyer. He is the great healer. He is a god who is known for his wild frenzy in dancing. On the other hand, you see that he is a god who is completely still as a yogi. So how does he unite these qualities which are polar opposites? Actually, life is about paradoxes and contradictions and opposites and trying to achieve a balance. And I think when you look at Shiva and study Shiva and see what Shiva means as an image and as a metaphor, I think we understand how to balance, how to find that balance in life.
We will be using Bharatanatyam to emote the theme and to expand on the various aspects of Shiva.
Yashoda is afraid that her darling little son.
Rooted in Asian shamanic tribal cultures, Shiva is possibly the oldest godhead who continues to be worshipped in a living tradition. He represents both action and meditation, the god of nature and the earth, human and non-human. Shiva belongs to infinite spaces. As a supreme artist, he reminds us that creativity is indispensable not only to transcend the world but for sheer survival.
Understanding and gaining knowledge about the great god Mahadev through this presentation was not just an educative but also an entertaining experience. Shows like these help connect with the Supreme Being and also help wipe out age-old mindsets. On that note, time for us to slip into a very short break. There's much more lined up for you on the other side. Don't go anywhere. Coming up ahead, a peek into the musical journey of Pandit Ravi Shankar. Welcome back after the break. The next performance is a tribute to Sitar maestro Pandit Ravi Shankar's contribution to the realm of Indian classical music through a string of brilliant performances that not only entertained but also conveyed the message of keeping alive traditional art forms in this modern era. The efforts of Shubham Music Circle stand out. Do take a look.
A musical tribute titled Sangeet Arpan to Bharat Ratna Pandit Ravi Shankar was an evening to remember. Pandit Ravi Shankar goes down as among the best known exponents of the sitar and a brilliant composer of Hindustani classical music. First on stage was a flute recital by Subhradeep Paul, a young talented flute player who learned classical music under the guidance of Guru Pandit Barun Kumar Pal.
Flute, most people think it's very spiritually inclined because, you know, Krishna is always seen playing the flute. However, it's not very popular because people find it really hard to get the sound out of it. So initially it requires almost a month or two, depending on the person who's, you know, how keen the person is. Depending on the person can produce the sound. However, since the basic thing is so late, so people are very demoralized and they leave in between. But however, if people do continue, we can find more and more flute players.
Up next, a Hansaveena recital by Pandit Barun Kumar Pal, a disciple of Pandit Ravi Shankar. Pandit Pal pioneered and propagated the instrument and is also a composer himself. He was accompanied by Subhajyoti Guha on the tabla, taking the show to a whole new dimension.
The instrument was created by Maestro Rikiram. So he said this should be the instrument for the guitar players who are playing Indian classical music on guitar. And he named it on his 80th birthday. So it was launched, named by him. It is Hansaveena. So because it's shape of the Hansa, the swan, and Veena, of course, we are playing like Vichitra Veena style. So it has like 22 strings and blend of Sitar, Sarod and Veena. Guru Brahma.
A highlight of the evening was the Odissi dance performance by Radhika Samson. Disciple of late Padma Vibhushan Guru Kelu Charan Mohapatra, Radhika presented a solo performance enthralling the audience. She was later joined by her students, all showcasing the grace and elegance of the Odissi dance form.
Embellished with rich tonal textures of instrumental music and dance performance, this show was indeed a treat for connoisseurs of traditional art. Talking of today's age now, Hindi film songs are a predominant element in our nation's culture. In multicultural India, they cut across all barriers to engage in a lively communication across languages. Take a look at one such singer whose efforts fully exemplified this.
An evening dedicated to the memory of Prabodh Chandra Day, popularly known as Manna Day. After making his debut in 1942 in the film Manna, from 1942 to 2013, Manna De recorded over 4,000 songs. Many of them classical gems from a golden era that Anil Sambhar sang for a transfixed audience.
Manna De, we all know about his singing, the world knows, everyone knows. But what I have met Manna De during my youth as well as when I was about 50 years old, what I find extraordinary in him is that the kind of nature he has. No assuming airs like many others have. He's one of the most simple persons.
A die-hard fan himself, Anil Sambhar has been an adherent follower of the legend who's been performing on stage for a long time. With supreme authority, he sings some of the most difficult and rare songs of Manna De.
He was a great personality and मैंने तो उनको अपना डीम्ड गुरु माना. डीम्ड गुरु इसलिए कि मैं गुरु तो बना नहीं सकता था, वो मुझे सिखा नहीं सकते थे practically, but otherwise by learning from his cassettes and CDs and now YouTube later on, तो जो भी मैंने सीखा है उनको एक अपना गुरु मान के सीखा है कि मैंने ये कैसे गाते हैं, क्या स्टाइल है इनका, not to imitate that.
The highlight of the show was the Jugalbandi between Anil and Bani Kaur. Together, they sang some famous compositions. Manna De was a versatile singer who sang in all major regional Indian languages. Although most were primarily in Hindi and Bengali.
We are just forgetting our Indian music, so we should, उसको रखना चाहिए हमें अपने उसमें अपने culture में. We can't we are just somewhere, we are just avoiding, vanish कर दिया हमने उस music को, और वो बहुत ज़रूरी है कि हम दोबारा से उसको लेकर आएं, क्योंकि somewhere we are Indians, वो चीज़ कभी भी हम रॉक में वो चीज़ लेकर आ ही नहीं सकते, बिकॉज वो हमारा कल्चर ही नहीं है. वी आर समवेयर इंडियंस, तो वो इंडियननेस वी हैव टू मेंटेन दैट.
grand finale was a medley that incorporated some very popular hits of the 80s. Music enjoys a pan-Indian appeal, and when it comes to Bollywood songs, it surpasses popular appeal, cultural value and context.
Manna Day won the Dada Sahab Phalke Award in 2007. His music draws elements from traditional sources and spans many genres. His songs are the way to uplift or change the mood anytime, no matter what you're feeling. On that note, we slip into another very quick break. There's still more to come when we return. Do stay with us.
On the other side, we tell you how to make boring everyday accessories look amazing and unique.
Welcome back. A quirky edge to everyday accessories gives a unique kick to artistic creativity. So here's presenting a budding talent, lending art a wacky new flavor, giving it a whole new dimension.
The art of doodling has been gaining a lot of pace in the design fraternity, a launch pad for artists around the world. Rahul Rattu, a student at the National Institute of Fashion Technology, found his creativity oozing out through his paintbrush. This imagination outlet got a further boost from external sources that inspired him to doodle away at everything he stumbled on.
मैंने 1-2 साल तक रिसर्च किया पूरा प्रॉपर हर चीज़ पर, हर मटेरियल पर, हर सरफेस पर, किस पर क्या चीज़ टिकती है, किस पर नहीं टिक सकती. इनफैक्ट एज आई हैव डन साइंस, सो मैंने उसका प्रॉपर रिसर्च किया जितना थॉरली हो सकता था. उसके बाद आई केम अक्रॉस फ्यू कलर्स विच आर रियली हाई क्वालिटी एंड दे आर टोटली परमानेंट.
Rahul started with customizing accessories and personalizing boring products by giving them his wacky touch. First, this metal car to which he gives a complete new look. He cleans it with acetone and applies a base coat with the help of high quality pigments. The base color should be white and uniform. Once it's dry, Rahul adds different colors and even varnish.
दोनों के लिए अलग अलग कलर्स है. फॉर फैब्रिक्स एंड कैनवस इट्स डिफरेंट कलर्स एंड फॉर अदर सरफेसेस इट्स डिफरेंट. सो ये वाले जो कलर्स हैं ये सारे मैंने प्लास्टिक वुड मेटल्स के लिए रखा हुआ है. एंड जो फैब्रिक्स और कैनवस पे होता है, शूज़ पर होता है, उनके लिए ये वाले कलर्स रखे हैं. एंड बोथ आर डिफरेंट, टोटली डिफरेंट. उनकी कंस्ट्रक्शन, उनके कॉम्पोजिशन ऑल आर डिफरेंट.
Rahul soon came up with the title Shoed Up, which apart from being a hit in the city also has international clients who are in awe of his art. And this talent of transforming the utterly boring into mesmerizing, fascinating stuff. Up next, art on these plastic shades which transforms them into something more gorgeous. procedure is the same, giving these glares a unique look through brush strokes.
This is also hand painted or brushwork, and it's after the finishing, it doesn't chip off or it fades away. You can wear it in the sun, or even it's all waterproof. It won't come out.
The art of doodling is very appealing and it holds a lot of creative potential. There are no restrictions, only endless possibilities. The last artifact is this wooden plank. It needs to be cleaned with cotton and not acetone, as that can destroy the wood. The paints used by Rahul are durable and flexible enough to withstand pressure put upon them. The work itself needs some precision, patience and accuracy.
Experimenting and improving upon old designs while taking inspiration from the surroundings is a challenge to explore and bring out creativity at its best. So while you go explore your creative side, it's time for me to wrap up this episode of Colors of India. We'll see you same time next week with more exciting and colourful stories. Until then, take very good care. Goodbye from the entire team.